theartofconcrete.ca. This is a Pennsylvania slate stamped concrete porch with an exposed aggregate border. This is when the concrete was being poured, and I'm creating an edge where the exposed aggregate concrete will go. In this video, I'm going to show you how I stamp the middle of this concrete porch. The pink border that you see on this porch that goes all the way around is the exposed aggregate border. The product that I spray on there prevents the concrete from curing. So that pink product will retard the surface. It'll hold down that surface so that it stays soft enough to wash it down after 24 hours. So that product stays on there for 24 hours. And it's critical that I don't stamp into that area. So you can see how I'm going right on that corner there with the stamp, because if I go into that area with the stamp, it's going to leave a line in the exposed aggregate. Now, we used a 32C2 exposed aggregate mix, and that has small pebbles, 10 millimeter pebbles in this mix. And essentially we poured that down nice and flat with some slope, and the pebbles are in this entire mix. Now, what I didn't show you, which you can see in some of the other videos, is how I rolled the middle area, the stamped area, with a jitterbug to push down the pebbles. I didn't do that on the border. I exposed the border with a full pebble exposure, but the middle has been rolled to push down the stones so that we can stamp the concrete like this. Now, the concrete's hard enough at this point where I can walk on it. Prior to walking on it and putting the stamps down, you can see that sort of gray powder that's on there. That's a release agent. And I use brick form for my stamping. I used to use some other products on the market, but I found that brick form specifically is designed, and the powder itself can't be compared. This stuff here has almost got like aggregate in it. I'm not quite sure. Maybe somebody can tell me in the comments, but it's a better product to work with, in my opinion. And they come with all different kinds of colors that you can do for your stamped concrete projects. On this project, we poured a porch, steps, driveway, patio, and exposed aggregate with some stamped concrete features such as borders and vertical areas. If you're looking for a concrete contractor, I'm more than happy to help you out. We service Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge, Guelph, Stratford, Woodstock, and all the surrounding areas. So if you're looking for concrete work, give me a shout. I'm happy to help you out. This is a Pennsylvania slate concrete stamp set, and I think I have 22 pieces in this set, and they all match up evenly. So that piece that I'm standing on is 36 inches by 12 inches, and the one in front of it is 36 inches by 36 inches. So when this pattern goes together, each piece goes end on end. So you're going to see me line up this with the other one. And the key to a successful concrete project like this, where you're stamping concrete, is getting enough powder on the concrete, and don't stamp it too early. So you can see we're adding a lot more powder here. There just wasn't enough, so I had the guys add more stamp powder there. If there's not enough powder, the stamp is going to push into the wet concrete, and it's going to pull up the surface. It's just going to make a mess. So more than enough powder, get lots on there. That way, if the surface is a little damp, you're not going to ruin the project. So the real tricky thing to this project is we didn't want to get this stamp on the border. You have to stay within the bordered area. And, the other thing too here is not putting a whole bunch of powder on the pink product, because what happens is it's going to start drying out the surface retarder, and it may not look the same. It may not be an even exposed aggregate finish. So these are things that are really critical, and I want to provide the best finish. So these little details as we're stamping it are going to give us the best finish that we can possible. So you can see that I'm not using a tamper because this concrete is soft enough that I can just use my feet. And the one thing that I want to express here is that when you're stamping with your feet like this, you're getting in all of the texture. When you use a tamper, sometimes the tamper doesn't get into the corners. Like when you're standing on it, you can get every area of the slab to make sure that it's a good job. Now, if I used a tamper on this, I'm going to pound it out too hard. I'm going to leave dips in it. That's why I didn't use a tamper. I wanted to be able to more or less feel out the surface with my feet. And you can see I go around the edges and I get that edge in really good to give a really nice stamped concrete impression. Now, a couple of things that I know I can improve on next time that I learned from this project and this video was the stamp pattern itself. Because they're even, I could have measured out the border to make sure that that pattern fit perfectly in this porch area. So if you scroll back to the beginning of the video, you can see around the edges where there's like a thin 2-inch area where the stamp was. It wasn't a full stamp. And that kind of bothers me. So I like to have things symmetrical and maybe match up nice. But these are things that you learn for next time. These are things that make you better. You can't always think about everything. But what you can do is do your best. And then that way, next time you learn something, especially since recording these YouTube videos, I noticed how I work. You'd learn something about yourself if you videotape yourself doing things. And what I'm doing right here is just stamping the edges. So this is a rubber edge mat. It's flexible. I would really recommend you get a bunch of these for stamped concrete projects. You're always going to need these edge mats. This is where I have to do the very detailed work with the edge mat, getting that 2-inch area around the edge, and stamping that in, because these are critical points that will show later on. So this is stuff that has to be looked after. Some of the keys to a successful project like this are timing, knowing how much time you have to work with, and then what your outcome is. What are you looking to do? Think about what you're looking to create, how it's going to look, because your body and your mind is what's going to do that. You're going to do that yourself. So you want to be able to understand and comprehend what it is you're going to make before you make it. Maybe draw a picture, some side notes, anything that can help you get there. Now, I just wanted to make this clear. This is more of an advanced concrete finishing project. If you're going to try anything like this yourself, try it small and on your own property or friends and family's house, because this is extremely difficult. It may look easy, but there's a lot of little things that go into play to get this to where it should look like. So just something to consider if you're going to try it yourself. If you're a homeowner, thanks for watching, and I really appreciate it. Please leave a comment. I want to know what you guys think. Maybe there's something you've seen that maybe I didn't see that you can let me know about, that I can learn about. I'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks, guys, for watching, and don't forget to hit subscribe. A lot of people come to this channel and they're just watching it, but they're not subscribing. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. Planning where you're going to get on and off the slab is really important when you're doing stamped concrete. Where you're going to start and where you're going to finish. This is a very important part of the process. Thanks for watching, guys. Check out how it turned out. Pennsylvania slate with an exposed aggregate border. We used a medium grade brick form release and a Euclid concrete sealer with anti-slip.